Hey guys, it's Anna from Anna's Travels, and today I'm going to talk about the camera that I end up taking with me for my honeymoon. So in the last video before my honeymoon, I talked about what camera that I was going to take. It was a decision between the Canon M50 or my Panasonic G85. I have also two other cameras. One is technically Chris's. It's a Canon Rebel. That thing is heavier than the Panasonic. And then this camera, which is a DJI Osmo Action. And then also my cell phone camera. And I end up using this camera and my cell phone for the most of the trip. The Panasonic is an awesome camera, but I'm just probably gonna keep the big girl at home. It was just like the first 2 days I took it with me and it was just heavy. It's just a heavy camera. And also what I came to find out, especially like a lot of the videoing that I do with like taking like good food video, is that the G85 with this lens, I haven't researched other lenses. Maybe there's other lenses that it could do well with, but it was just like the footage was just too dark, and I should have like realized that, because this is why I take the Canon M50 with me to the restaurants. You know, when I do my food reviews on my other channel, KaijuBites. I've done some food reviews on this channel, but mostly it's on my KaijuBites that I do a lot of food reviews. That should have clued me in, but I wasn't thinking right, you know. I was thinking more about stabilization, and the G85 has better stabilization than Canon because of my shoulder, and then I'm like, well, how much vlogging do I really do? You know? And for like our honeymoon, I actually was like, I have to make props to like the full-time YouTubers, because like I just got tired. And maybe because like it's like 2 weeks, while, you know, a lot of Disney YouTube vloggers are usually more local to Orlando. They can have like a set thing that they video, but like by the time I got to Universal, I was tired of recording. You know, I still took footage, but not as much as like the beginning of the trip. But I end up using the DJI Osmo Action, and I also end up using my cell phone, which I have a Note 9, and Samsung Note 9. And so yeah, between the two of those, you know, the Note 9 I think it's respectable. I think it, you know, especially these little cameras are getting just better and better and better in your cell phone. And it does well in low light, and so it worked. And then I use this for like just a little bit of vlogging here and there. My drink around the world video at Epcot was mostly done on this camera until it died. So yeah, and it's so light. I mean, like on the tripod, it's probably less than a pound. I'm pretty sure it's less than a pound. It definitely doesn't feel like a pound. And so yeah, so between the two of them, that's what I used. So I'm still on a search for the perfect camera, and you know, that's a tough thing because no camera is perfect, and especially like, you know, one person's needs versus the others. All I know is that I don't want a gimbal because it's just extra stuff. Like, I really like having this kind of setup where I only have like a tripod. I also have a different tripod that is a little bit taller, which is great for like, actually I've like used it where I just propped it up and was able just to, you know, eat. Because like this one, when you put it in, you really have to, especially with some of the like this one, like it articulates pretty wide, so I can take like eating videos, but you know, but just can't do that with like a bigger camera. So yeah, so it's like, for me, I need the stabilization. My shoulders are shaky, you know, and I don't want a gimbal because it's just extra weight. You know, like I want the lightest setup possible. And, you know, when I first started my search, you know, I really I knew Panasonic, I knew Sony, I knew Canon, I knew like, I don't know, I don't really like Sony as a company. like as just a company that have private reasons. But I also don't really like, I mean, no, Sony is like, the cameras are incredible, but like I'm not a Sony girl. Like, I just know that I'm not a Sony girl. But then I was looking at some of the then Olympus popped up in the picture, and you know, I just like, oh, Olympus, you know, they're a pretty good, you know, photography camera, and I didn't even consider them for video, you know. And so I started researching more and more and more, and I'm like, you know what? Is it perfect? No. I mean, but we've already established that there's no such thing as a perfect camera. I mean, the Panasonic's too heavy for me, you know, and the smaller, I've actually like went to the store and like handled the G7, which I think is smaller than the 85, and I just didn't like how it felt. And then I looked at the Sonys just to make sure that I'm not a Sony girl, and I also just don't like the Sonys. I don't like how they feel. And, you know, and then Canon really has no stabilization. Like they depend on the lens, and we know that that doesn't work for me, in the smaller cameras. I'm not sure, like, cause I wanted to change out lenses, so I didn't look at the G7X Mark II because we know the 3s are awful. And, so yeah, so, you know, and I looked at Fuji, but Fuji doesn't have stabilization. So like the only camera that kind of checked the boxes, most of the boxes, was the Olympus, the Olympus M5 Mark III. There's also the Mark II that I looked at, but I decided that I'm probably just going to spend the money on the Mark III, because of the autofocus. And it is a little bit lighter than the Mark II because the body is not, I forgot. I just watched the video on Gordon Lang's channel. Is it Camera Labs? And so he was talking about they changed the body. I can't remember what he said, but apparently the camera's lighter, and that's what I want. And it's weather sealed, so like when we go for Norway, it would be great for Norway. Actually, when I was at the camera store, I actually got to handle the Mark II, and the guys were like, oh yeah, I should be able to handle, you know, just put like a little hand warmer with it, and it should be fine, you know. So yeah, so that might be my new camera once, you know, the bills settle and I can, you know, afford a $1,100. That's the other problem, $1,100 camera. But I mean, if you look at it, it has better stabilization than the Sony. I forgot what's comparable. Is it 6100 that's comparable to the Olympus? So yeah, so I might pull the trigger. You know, I have usually have like a 30-day, 60-day return window. So, I mean, in the first week, I should probably like figure out if I can handle it. But yeah, so we'll see. I'm not sure when I'm gonna buy it. But until then, I'll use the cameras that I feel is good for the situation. Panasonic's probably gonna stay as my in-studio camera. I'll take the Canon M50 with me for like food reviews, and then this guy whenever I need a little small portable camera, and the cell phone is always in the pocket for those other moments that pop up. So I hope you like this video. You know, like I've said before, I'm not a tech reviewer. I don't know a lot, though I am learning. I definitely am learning. Like my friend told me, I definitely have GAS, which is Gear Acquisition Syndrome. I think that's what GAS means. And yeah, I think I definitely have gas. So I hope you guys like and subscribe, guys, and I hope to see you guys in future videos. So, and let me know, like, what do you think about cameras? Like, do you have your favorites? Are you a Sony gal? Are you a Canon boy? Are you a Panasonic? Or you just want the best camera, and depending on the situation? Talk to you later.